Now this is the door I'm setting out at present. So this is what I've got to remake. So I have everything cut to length. And before you do anything, or the first phase of doing anything, is to line them up as a pair. So always do things in pairs. So so we can see on camera there, you always mark a face side and face edge. Always good practice, no matter how many you're doing. If you're even doing a single one, or you're doing multiples of doors and windows, whatever it is, always put a face side and face edge mark. Why? Because when you go to a machine, you'll always know which face or edge you're working on, and you can apply that to the machine, whether it's face side in or face side out, face edge in, face edge out. So you have a system. The only time that I ever mark with the tape is to measure the actual overall length of this, and that's around, I think it's 83.5 inches if we're talking in inches. So I'll put a line here, measure my length, and then I stop using the tape at that stage. So for the base rail, I put the thickness of the rail on there. I'll be using a square, of course, a square and a cross, so I can marry it up to the line there. If I do it this way here, that's not the way it's going to work, sorry. If I do it this way, I can square it up to the line here, push it up, and when I push it up to the line, I take away the square and mark the line. That's more accurate than measuring by hand. So I do the very same thing with the head, and then I've got my distances marked. So just on the style here, I have the yellow one that's easier to see. I can just do this for a moment. I've got my mortise marked, I've got my haunch marked, and I've got the rebate marked there, just so as I know. I put a double pair of lines only on one style. Even if I'm doing 10 doors, it's just do one style. Why? I can set the machine off of that, that's all I need. I don't need to be marking them all. So on the front, I need to show the full mortise and a little haunch. And on the back, the lines are carried around to show the mortise only. We don't put in the haunch on the back, because we'll be putting in wedges at this point here, so we'll be mortising for wedges. So that's what happens top and bottom. And the rails, the sill and the top, the base rail and the top, the head as we call it, they're marked also and allowed for the rebates. So this is the section of what I'm doing in this case. A little bit different in this one. I have to take out that little area there. So I've got a rebate to take the glass, that's going to be there, that section will be gone. This is just an example. And then I've got to do all the detail in there that I have. The rebates, the grooves, the groove for the seal, the groove for the 4-point locking system. So all that has to be done as we go through the processing of the door. So the first thing we do is the mortise. You always start with the mortise first. Why do I start with the mortise first? Because you have a fixed mortise width of 1/2 inch. Oops. And it's easy enough you set the tenon to actually suit the width of the mortise. So I can bring the tenon heads closer together or further apart. But in this case, you always do the female part first, which is the mortise, and then you come along and you can set the tenon later on. So in this case, you'd have a long and short shoulder tenon. That's an example of it there. And I've allowed there for the rebate on the bottom, as you can see here, if the camera picks it up. This is the old door. This is the old door, and this is the 4-point locking system that's on it. There's a worn seal that has to go in there as well. So you'll see that that's the groove for the seal there. So that has to go into it. So I think in total there's 4 or 5 settings of the spindle moulder just to get the style with the lock side completed and the seals. So that's it. Once I'm ready at this stage now, so the next phase is to go to my mortiser, set my mortiser off the gauge lines that I have here, and then I mortise the 2 styles, front and back, and allow for the wedging at the back as well. So that's the next phase. So I marked out, that's all I have to do. I've taken account of rebates, long and short shoulders, all done, so I'm ready to machine up now. So we start again, as I say, with the mortiser, and we show the little machining process as we go forward. So that's it. Always marking pairs, just to recap: face side, face edge, face edge. Always in pairs, otherwise you're going to get confused. So no matter how simple the project is, always use a system whereby you know the face side and face edge. Okay, so that's it for now. That's the setting out done. We're ready to go there next. Okay.